Okay, hi everybody. So welcome to the Department of Physiology. I'm just going to do a pretty brief presentation and then we'll just do a Q&A. And just to let you know, my colleague Eva Eng is here as well to answer any questions with regard to our summer research programming for folks who are undergraduate students. So I don't really cover that in this presentation, but she'll be here for the Q&A portion as well. So here we go. So welcome to the Department of Physiology. So what is physiology? You guys probably all know that because you're all science folks, but let's do it anyway. Physiology is the study of the biological processes that support life. And our department examines the interaction between factors that determine health and disease at the cellular, tissue, and whole organism levels. So why physiology? So it really underpins possibilities for breakthroughs in specialized areas of study. So when I say underpins, basically, what I mean is it's kind of where all medical discovery kind of begins, is in this thorough understanding of how the human body works, both in health and in disease. So a lot of folks who sort of are interested in where things all get started end up becoming physiologists, because it's that thing that underpins everything. Every faculty member of ours I've ever spoken to, even if they have highly translatable research, they speak to the importance of having a thorough understanding of physiology to what they do. And we draw on our respected history to blaze trails in neuroscience, diabetes, reproductive, and cardiac health. So when I say respected history, you can see in the corner there the Insulin 100 logo. So insulin was famously discovered in our department 100 years ago. So that's a big, sort of legacy that we try to continue to build upon. And of course, our researchers have made many discoveries since then, not perhaps with quite as much reverberation around the world, but certainly, getting there and forever using that as our benchmark. So what do we offer? We have two streams of graduate study. We have a research stream, which is an MSc and PhD, very similar to what you just heard about the IMS program. So basic science study working in a lab with a supervisor, one of our excellent PIs. And then we also have a newer program, which is a professional master's, and it's called the MHSC in Medical Physiology. That program is, I'll cover it in more detail soon enough. So that's the overview, but it's a course-based master's. So you're not doing research in a lab, you're completing courses, and there's a practicum at the end. So the research stream, as I say, you work on a research project, so it culminates in a thesis. It usually takes about 2 years to complete the MSc. And as with IMS, you can transfer into a PhD program if that's the vibe you're feeling. And in some cases, we do allow direct from undergraduate to PhD entry. You can see our website for more detail on that. Oops. Sorry about that. Big question that I often receive at recruitment events: do I need a supervisor for the MSc to apply? So you can apply without a supervisor. You can get your application started and accepted, but before you can actually start the program, you will need a supervisor. So again, as my colleague at IMS mentioned, it's not too early to start now. And I do have some information on best practices on reaching out to supervisors. I'll drop that in the chat after the presentation, just so you guys have the link. Oh, sorry for a beeping noise. So we do recommend that you do start looking as early as possible, just to ensure that you find someone that you're a good fit with, and that you can really tailor your application. And it's also good for your statement of intent to be able to say, I've already connected with so-and-so as a potential supervisor. That will definitely strengthen your case. So the MHSC in medical physiology, as I mentioned, is the professional master's. It's a unique program in that it's only 12 months in length. I believe it's the only program in the Temerty faculty that is that short. So you're doing 2 semesters of courses, which include, so we have core courses specifically designed for this program. They include a big data course, a professional development course where you sort of map your goals and your career aspirations and inventory your talents and transferable skills. And then there's a collaboration and commercialization course as well. There's also a mentored literature review. So our students emerge having written a publishable piece of work, and we have had our students publish in top journals straight out of this program. And then it culminates, the summer semester is a practicum. And so those are typically in government, industry, hospital, nonprofit, and sometimes lab settings as well. And students do everything there from big data analysis. And we had a student this year really sort of taking charge of a commercialization process in a lab, and some folks were doing a bit of marketing work or liaising with the marketing team at a startup, that kind of thing. So it's a wide range of different types of skills that you get to apply in a healthcare setting. So to apply, what is required? An A- average in the last 2 years of study for both programs is required. Completion of relevant science courses, biology, physiology, chemistry, etc. And we do definitely, for the MHSC, we look for demonstrated skill in physiology, because you will also have to take electives in physiology alongside those core courses. And then 2 references. Good to have academic references for the research stream. For the MHSC, you can also include, if you have had some industry experience or something like that, and you have a good reference from that experience, you can include that. Statement of interest, similar to IMS, this is the place where you put any information that isn't reflected in your CV. Oh, and I missed, you need to include a CV as well. But all of this information is in the admissions section of our website as well, pretty broken down. And then there is an interview component exclusively for the MHSC program. And that is just to assess sort of that you're a good fit for the program, and get a sort of understanding of your, interests and passion for physiology, that kind of thing. It's not a particularly formal situation. So what's it like to be in physiology? So we have an active student association. It's called GASP. And here they are enjoying a pub night recently. Finally get to have some live events again, which is amazing. And so they do social events. They also do how-to events, which is really great. So they help their fellow students with things like, your first committee meeting, and like how to actually go about getting your thesis handed in and authorized. As you probably know by now, U of T is sort of a bureaucratic maze at times. So they can really, they do a lot of events that sort of help you sort through that and speak from experience. So I think that's a really cool thing that they offer. We also are committed to building an inclusive culture in our department, and we have an active equity, diversity, and inclusion committee comprised of learners, staff, and faculty, we started it about a year ago, and we've already, we've pretty much overhauled our faculty hiring policies to make sure that we're starting to diversify our faculty within the next 5 years. And I mean, we do have a somewhat diverse faculty, but it's not reflective of the city of Toronto, and we are aiming to do that. And then, next projects will include more inclusive recruitment for students, et cetera, et cetera. So that's something we're really working on actively in the department at the moment. And I think that's all I have to say for now. So I'm going to throw this in the chat, or maybe I already did. But this little linky here is the it goes to a form to fill out to join our future students mailing list. I really recommend joining it. I don't send a ton of emails from there, but you know, it just provides you with an easy way to keep in touch. I send a little bit more information from time to time, as well as reminders of upcoming deadlines and stuff like that. I believe actually, yeah, you may get one email just by virtue of having signed up for this info session. Actually, I'm just thinking, but if you want to unsubscribe, you can also always unsubscribe. So that's all I have to say formally. So let's open it up for questions, and maybe if you want to introduce yourself as well, Eva, real quick, or if people have questions regarding undergraduate summer research opportunities, just pop your questions in the chat or the Q&A, and we will do our best to answer them. Okay, so Q&A. Oh, are any of these for me? No, I don't think so. These have all been answered. All right.
Do international students need to secure a supervisor before admission into either the master's or direct entry?
Oh, why don't I see that?
It's a new one.
Oh, there we go. I'm sorry. I was looking in the answered section. My bad. Do international students need to secure a supervisor before admission into either the MSc or direct entry PhD programs? So same situation. You can be accepted into the program without, but we do recommend starting to look now, and you will need one secured by the time you actually start the program. So the sooner you get started on that, the better. Can someone interested in alternative medicine and therapeutic treatment find a spot? Oh, that question just disappeared. Oh, I see. Find a spot in the physiology department. That's a good question. I mean, what I would recommend is browsing around our faculty and seeing who's doing research that you vibe with. Does that help? Like, I wouldn't say that anyone specifically that comes to mind is doing sort of alternative medicine, but that is not to say they wouldn't be doing research that would be relevant to someone who eventually wants to practice alternative medicine. So let's say you're interested in the physiology of ADHD, for example. Certainly, we have faculty working on that type of neuroscientific research. And so it could be applicable for your purposes, I would think. Do jump in and let me know if that's not answering your question, but that's off the top of my head how I would answer. Is there any difference in applying for round 1 or round 2 deadlines? So it depends what stream you're applying for. For the MHSC, definitely a difference in that we accept students already from the first round. And so after that, it's on a rolling basis. So let's say there's only 20 people accepted for that program. If we get 20 people who we want out of the gate in the round 1, you know, we'll still open round 2 in case some of those folks end up getting accepted to other programs and whatnot. But you stand in better stead for that program if you apply for round 1. For the other programs, the research-based streams, my understanding is that there isn't as much of a difference. There's no cap for students in those programs, provided there's like supervisors to go around. That's how many folks we kind of accept. So we also have something that's interesting about our research stream is we have a May start. So there's, for the January deadline, you can actually apply to start in May if you want to sort of get a head start on your graduate studies. So that's something to consider as well. I'm just actually going to put the link to that information into the chat so that you guys have it should you want it. So you can just quickly copy paste it. We have time, right? Yes, we do. Oops. Oh, it is not copy pasting. Oh, I don't know. Well, I'll do that at the end if I can. So for MSc in physiology, there's no rotations. That's correct. There is not a rotation system at this time. As my colleague from IMS said, there are programs that do have it, and there are pros and cons, I think, to both of those systems, and we have not adopted it at this time. Are you looking for previous research experience, or is it not required? So it is not a requirement. You know, of course, it will only help your case if you do have research experience, but it is not needed. You are welcome. And how is this different from a medical research program offered in IMS? So the MHSC is entirely different because it's a course-based master's, which I don't believe IMS has a professional master's. Forgive me if I'm wrong. So that the 12-month program with a practicum at the end can only be done in physiology. And then as far as the research stream goes, it really sort of just depends what kind of research you're interested in doing. All of the basic science departments have different faculty, different labs, and it'll just be up to you to sort of sort through and figure out what it is you want to do and who it is you want to work with. So I would start with our faculty directory and our research platform area on our website and just look through and also compare and contrast what's offered at IMS, maybe immunology, molecular genetics. These folks all offer research opportunities. And it's sort of, yeah, again, finding the person and the type of work that you're interested in doing. What is the deadline for the first round of admissions for the MHSC? Is January the 14th. I'm not sure if I did say that. It's January 14th for the first round of MHSC and January 15th for the research streams. I'm going to try again to paste the link for you, because you'd think in the year of 2021, I'd be able to do that successfully. Oh, yes, there we go. Okay. Hold on. So there are the requirements and deadlines for the research stream. And I will put also for the MHSC stream. Oops. Sorry, guys. There you go. Let me go back to the questions. So those are the deadlines. Do people often do an MD after the MHSC? So that's a good question. So far, we've only had one graduating cohort. It's a pretty new program. So this year, I believe 3 or 4 students went on to do MD and or dentistry programs. And then over 50%, I do believe, got hired by their placement organization. So they went on to work in whatever startup or lab that they ended up being placed in. So not everyone went on to do an MD program, but several did. And definitely a lot of students said to me, I did a sort of exit interview type thing just to do a blog post about the program. And several students mentioned they went in thinking it was an MD or bust for them. And after completing the program, they actually changed their minds because they had such a great time in their placement and they discovered, you know, new interests. So I mean, I'm going beyond what you asked, but the answer is yes. And also there's more to it. Does having a PI in the physiology department guarantee you a spot in the MSc program? No, I mean, you still have to have all of the other application stuff. You still have to have the correct marks and submit everything. But as I say, of course, it's something that's going to strengthen your application for sure. Again, if I'm not answering your exact question, please do a follow-up. The admission requirement states at least an A minus for the last 2 years of study. Is that according to U of T GPA? And does this requirement consider COVID-19 pandemic? So the A minus is according to U of T GPA. However, we do have SGS provides us with a whole conversion system for international universities, how to compare and contrast the various universities. So we're always breaking it down to compare apples to apples. So when we say A minus, certainly we do mean the U of T standard of A minus, but we take, the same type of mark from anywhere you're applying from. And for the COVID-19 pandemic, again, this was sort of addressed by SGS, and we have specific instructions for how to deal with, some courses ended up going to a sort of credit or no credit system versus a mark. So we have instructions as admissions officers for how to deal with that information and make sure that the applications are regarded fairly. You're welcome to whoever said thank you. And, oh yeah, I forgot to tell you guys, but we have an information session for the MHSC, which is coming up on November the 15th. And that's with the program director of that program. So if you end up thinking about all the things you've heard of today and you think, you know what, I'd like some more information on that program she mentioned, please do sign up for that. And again, you'll receive an email from me with a reminder of that later on, probably this week. But there's no sign up or RSVP required. The Zoom information is on our website. So yeah, please join us for that if you'd like, upcoming. Does the A minus for the last 2 years mean years 3 and 4? If so, how does that work since 4th year grades will not be out by the time we submit an application? Good question. So yes, it means 3 and 4. You'll be submitting a sort of unofficial transcript if you apply in January. And if you do get accepted at that time, sorry, I need to wet my whistle here. If you do get accepted in the first round, it'll be a conditional acceptance, and you'll just need to maintain that A minus average. And you do submit an official transcript before enrollment can happen. So I would have a quick look at your official transcript, clear the conditions, and then you're good to go. Where do we sign up for the MHSC info session? I might be on your email list. Well, if you're on my email list, as I said, I'm going to send an email to everybody who attended this session and just let you know about it. But I just dropped a link in the chat as well. And if you go onto the Physiology website, if you scroll down to the events section, it's there as well. So lots of ways to find it. I'll tweet it as well. Follow us on Twitter if you want. And yeah, it's just, as I say, there's no, oh. Okay, someone has just made me aware that I'm not correctly sharing the links. I'm sorry. Okay, I shared them only to other panelists. I'm sorry, guys. Panelists and attendees. All right, ready? I'm gonna link bomb you all. Here they come. I hope. Okay, does everyone see this one? Yay! Okay, sorry. Jeez. I am not usually this bad at this stuff, or maybe I am. I'm not sure. Okay, there is another one. Okay, now we're cooking with gas, guys. And the event. Here we go. There's the event. And to sign up for our mailing list, final one. There we go. Okay. Whew, amazing. Sorry about that. Ah, okay. Would it affect our application if we did not take a full course load for every semester in our last 2 years of study? Yeah, that is a good question. I believe so, but you're saying though that you've completed your full course. I'm assuming you're saying you still completed your full course load that you need to graduate, obviously, because otherwise you wouldn't be applying for grad school. So then it'll take the last, like, that number of courses into account, if that makes sense, for the A minus. Am I making sense? Like the equivalent of the last 2 years, the equivalent of a full course load for 2 years, the last ones you took. Again, please follow up if that answer did not make sense. Any other questions? Any questions about the summer research opportunities? Okay, I mean, we're always here for you. You can find, I will also put my email address in the chat here. You can always reach out and just let us know any further questions you may have. So what are the summer research opportunities, or where can we find more info on them? So there is info on our website, but Eva, if you're there, do you want to speak to it briefly?
Yes, summer research is for undergrad students that just, well, it's for third or fourth year students that just graduated and haven't started a graduate program yet. And it's on our website. I type that in.
I can try to find it and drop it in too, Eva.
Okay.
Is it the Summer Research Awards?
Yes, so we have NSERC Awards and the GLSE Awards and the Europe Awards. So you cannot have started a grad program, but if you've been accepted into a grad program, then you can apply for these summer awards, which starts like in May till the end of August. And for the most part, they're 12 weeks and you do get paid during the summer. Oh yes, you did it. Great.
There we go. Getting paid in the summer sounds good to me.
Yeah. So you do a research with a physiology supervisor, which you would have to find.
Okay. And is there, would they email you, Eva, for information on how to find a supervisor?
No. Not, they have to find a supervisor on their own, but I haven't received any updated information on next summer's awards yet.
Okay.
So just check our website in January.
Okay, check the website in January. Great. When do you recommend we start applying for the summer research opportunities? So I guess, Eva, you're saying check the website in January and there should be more information at that time?
Yes, usually the deadline's in March, so you have plenty of time.
Great. Good to know. Anything else? I think we're almost at time here. Well, thanks everyone for coming. And yeah, you know, we're always around if you have questions.